Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez absolutely destroyed Republican Senator Susan Collins for these comments of hers on the Senate floor today.
Surely we ought to be able to pull together and work quickly to respond to the needs of the American people. Mr. President, I cannot believe the objections to proceeding to this package. Is this package perfect? No, but that's why negotiations are still going on. But don't we want to act quickly to provide relief to the American workers? This is disgraceful. We do not have time. Time is not on our side.
This is after the Republicans failed to pass their pro-corporate bill for the coronavirus, so AOC was not going to take that lying down. She wrote, "Senator Collins can keep her crocodile tears. She voted and fought hard to strip pandemic prep funding. She helped drive the lack of preparation that we had leading up to this. What's actually disgraceful is her 'I'm a moderate lady' dance to cover up brutal policies and votes. Collins voted for the GOP tax scam. She voted to appoint Kavanaugh. She's defending an utterly corrupt bill to shower public money on friends and donors. Susan Collins is not a moderate. She just plays one on TV." AOC is, per usual, just absolutely right. What Collins is complaining about is that the Democrats didn't support a procedural vote that would have allowed McConnell's pro-corporate, pro-big money donor bill to pass. Basically, what McConnell and the Republicans are trying to do is pass anything, pass any coronavirus legislation that inflates stock prices, that keeps corporate America afloat, and hoping that the American people are so terrified by the pandemic that they're not going to look into the details. The Democrats, thankfully, specifically Pelosi in the House, which I'll give them credit for, are actually playing hardball for a change. They're saying, no, we want provisions for healthcare workers, for people who are unable to work right now, for people who are being laid off. We don't need this to be a giveaway for your donors. And Collins is outraged that they're not just passing a bill through that would not even be helpful in the extent that it needs to be, just for the sake of passing a bill, because as AOC is alluding to, Susan Collins is not an actual moderate. She walks in lockstep with the Republican establishment, and there are receipts on Susan Collins's record specifically with pandemic relief and how terrible she has been on that issue. Because if Collins had any foresight and wasn't more concerned about her donors than the American people, and wasn't more concerned about this, faux small government mentality, then we might not even be needing this deluge, this massive amount of provisions in the first place. For Maine Senator Susan Collins, a lifelong Republican who believes in limited government, funding for pandemic flu preparations didn't belong in the Obama administration's economic stimulus plan. She lobbied hard to kill the money, and as one of only 3 Senate Republicans supporting the package, she had a lot of leverage with an administration desperate to show bipartisan support in a global economic crisis. Michael Grunwald, whose 2012 book, The New Deal, tells the story of the massive stimulus legislation that funneled $800 billion into the economy, recently posted the page from his book that underscores Collins' power in shaping the deal, along with her insistence that money for pandemic preparation was a non-starter in the bill. She was immovable, according to Grunwald's reporting. So Susan Collins almost personally struck $870 million in pandemic prep funding from Obama's stimulus package bill. And now she has the gall to go on the Senate floor and chastise Democrats who are trying to get in provisions for workers, for regular people, not just donors and corporations and big-moneyed interests. Now she has the gall to say that they're the ones who are disgraceful. It was disgraceful for her to do that and not have the foresight and not be a good enough senator and legislator to know that this might happen. And then swine flu hit, by the way, after that. That was in 2009, and she was criticized for it a little bit. But she's not even, she doesn't have the humility to look back on that vote and say, wow, maybe I was in the wrong. No, it's the Democrats for not rubber stamping Mitch McConnell's bill. I have to give the Democrats credit. I'm loath to do that, right? I think a lot of times leadership is pathetic, but they're actually playing hardball here. They're not just going to pass anything. And AOC is pointing out Susan Collins' hypocrisy. This is not a moderate. She's a Republican hardliner through and through.